I am an accountant for a petrochemical firm stuck in a city under siege in the Middle East. My name is Jason Falkland, and this is Siege Radio. I often wonder what things are like back home. I wonder, is there anyone who even misses me? No, I'm sure somebody does. But being alone does this to you. You have no idea. You begin to think the world has just completely abandoned you. No, I'm certain Catherine is doing everything she can to get somebody to help me. Oh, yeah, I did forget to mention this. Catherine is my wife. We met in college, and then we just got married as soon as we graduated. Best day of my life. I shouldn't talk about my wife on here. I'm a pretty emotional guy, and having gunfire outside your window doesn't help either way. The city has actually been about the same for the past week. Resistance, they're of course doing a sweep of my room every couple of days. They're trying to see if I find anything useful that they themselves can just come in and take. And, well, obviously they haven't found anything. Frankly, just because I haven't found anything myself. The shops and supermarkets are apparently sold out. This is according to the Resistance. Frankly, I find that really hard to believe. There was one shop that was visible right from my window. I'm looking at it now. That shop was looted right before my very eyes by the Resistance. I have reason to believe that they probably did the same to every other store in town. In my opinion, just my opinion, World War I was the war that ended empires. The Ottoman Empire was the one that ceased to exist after that. The areas and lands, they were all carved up and divided between the Allies. The area in which Gurakstan lies was handed over to French control. Now, how would you feel if a culture that wasn't near to you in advancement arrived a few centuries later and they cut chunks of your empire to go around with its allies? This would be similar to a country taking over Europe and then handing out cities like New York or California to its allies to keep control and rule any way they see fit. Can you even envision that? Can you? You know, something else very interesting happened during this time. Warships. Warships were made that didn't utilize coal. They used oil. And excavation into Gurakstans produced gushers. Gurakstan became a very important country. along with so many other oil producers, to Europe and its allies. The oil extracted would be barreled up and then eventually sailed to Europe. And the country in return would get protection. What if this was done to the partitioned United States, which aren't united anymore? Or how about this? What if a foreign invading country took over ours, and instead of a California gold rush, we'd have a people drilling gold up using American slaves and sending it over to their nation? Now, does that sound like a pleasant change in history? No. No, it couldn't have been pleasant. Now imagine all this happening in the Cold War between the First and Second World Wars. With the rise of extremist ideologies in Europe and Asia, no less. You see, this was when the European war machine was beginning to wind up again. The world would soon see the greatest loss of life in the history of our species. The origin, if you will, of mechanized and industrialized execution. All of it, by the way, based on racial or religious reason. The Middle East would only be used as an object for war to be used by whoever controlled it. Not that it really mattered, really. Everybody would keep drilling till the wells ran dry. So what difference did it make if the one drilling the oil was fighting to free or oppress? None. The oppression would last here either way. Frankly, the only difference would be a different flag to serve under. Well, it gets worse from here on. Much worse. Remember what I said about the people never experiencing their bygone greatness? Well, Gurakstan was now officially on a train to the very bottom. I'm running low on food. The resistance has been marking up the food they stole from the shops and then selling them with, get this, a 400% markup. Now granted, the currency here, it is pretty low compared to the US dollars in my pocket. And I do have quite a bit of it left. I think I can buy food for at least a few more weeks. But honestly, it's not really the price I'm worried about. If anything, that's the least of my concerns. Now, my biggest concern is a city under siege only has so much time before it begins to starve. I begin now. Starting today, I'm going to begin eating half of what I usually eat. I'm going to try to conserve my energy. I don't leave my room anyway, so I don't think that'll be very hard. Shouldn't be. The work that I do after I wake up is going to have to go too. Can't keep doing that. I'll keep buying food regularly and then just hiding the half I don't eat. Just need to hide it well enough so that the resistance doesn't see any of it, and then of course by extension, take it. I'm gonna see if I can find a good hiding place. I noticed something. My bathroom never seems to get swept. I guess the Resistance don't think that someone's going to want to hide food there. Well, I probably wouldn't think of that either. Well, knowing this, I decided to poke around the bathroom a bit, and I found out that one part of the wall is wooden. It's just sitting above the sink, and actually, a part of it is underneath the mirror. So I carefully removed the mirror, and then after that, using the hilt of my microphone stand, punched the wooden wall, and therefore created a small hole. After doing that, I looked around, found some paper, and then I pushed it inside this hole until I had a nice, stable base to keep my hidden food. And after that, I took the mirror, put it back, and the wall didn't look any different. I'm thankful. I am really, really thankful. I am Jason Falkland, and this is Siege Radio.
Siege Radio is a production of Harsh Gupta and Lance Talbert for Siege Radio Productions. We are an independent two-man team that produce storytelling podcasts which were made free forever. Want to help the show? Head on over to patreon.com/Siege Radio. That is patreon.com/SIEGERADIO. Thanks.